Welcome back everyone. We're back in Gold Rush, about to finish off day one, a little bit after where I left you off last time. We did go get everything set up for our MobileWash plant. Just finished getting gas here. We're going to go wait a couple minutes outside the machine shop and run ourselves a big excavator. I did want to clarify a couple things. First off, I misspoke when comparing the gold output for the buckets. I said compared to the magnetite separator, and it's actually the gold nuggetator. Just wanted to clarify that. What I mean is when you rinse your mats out in the gold nuggetator, you get 100%, or if that's 100%. Comparing it to just rinsing your mats in the buckets, you get only 96% of that compared to the 100%. And how I tested that was I had a bucket in a previous save and saved the game, ran it through ran the mats through the bucket, and then ran it through the wave table and the magnetite separator, and compared that to running the mat through the gold nuggetator and then the wave table, and running it through the bucket instead of the gold nuggetator was about 96% of what you got out of the nuggetator. But like I said, we got everything set up. We've got the cables or the hoses stretched out all the way to the far side of the claim with the single pump that we already had. We're just waiting for this clock to hit 0000, and we'll pick up this big guy right here. Let's go ahead. I think we got him in the store already. Nope. We'll add him in. It doesn't make a difference if you do it now or at midnight. 2583, that'll change as soon as midnight hits. Definitely looking forward to getting this done. We're only going to do about 10 buckets through this, and then we'll get set up for tier 3. Plan for that is we're actually going to buy these, buy that. We may not buy that, but definitely buy these, buy this. That way we're going to kind of waste a season here and grab a bunch of employees, but from what it looks like is you can only get employees for the equipment you have. So we're going to grab these and then waste some days in the season and then see what kind of employees we get. I think it'll be fun. Definitely a first time for me just to kind of waste days and just to get workers. We'll see how it goes. We could always start over, but we're already a couple days into the season here. The leaderboard season, that is. And that was the other thing that I wanted to clarify is when we're digging just for nuggets, let this thing load. You don't get credit for that either. We're still at 0. These guys are up here killing it already. 2,200 ounces of gold. So yeah, we got some work to do, but like I said, I think we'll kind of get some workers. That way when we get all this set up, we can rent it at day 1 prices, and then already have workers to give us a little bit of boost for having the system, and then also for swapping out our mats and buckets and everything, just to kind of give us a hand, get us a little bit more efficient, get it going right. A couple more minutes here. This is kind of new. They changed this up for this update. Frankenstein was over here. They put the electrical trailer there. They had the other DLCs, the old Arnold trommel and the reinforced trommel, and then the other what was that, shaker and Yeah, planter and the gravel pump. There we go, midnight. So you see here, didn't pay any workers. We only processed 3.78 cubic feet of dirt, but we didn't actually earn any gold. Everything we got was given to us by the game, I guess. So now if we see here the rent, $26.81, it went up a little bit. But that's still, I mean, you're talking, we'll say $100. That's nice. Transport, we're going to drag that back. We just want to throw that over there, move that. No, we'll watch that thing kind of flop around everywhere. Trucks, the lights on this truck are pretty nice, as long as you're using the high beams. Less than that, not quite that great. It'd be nice if the headlamp had a high beam too, but it's funny, this thing's got so much weight in that trailer and it just fishtails all over the place and like a rag doll. Every little bump, that thing's going everywhere. You can see it there. I don't think, like I said, we're probably going to get about 10 buckets or so of this just to get us some money, unlock the workers. They don't disappear if you don't hire them. So we'll unlock a bunch of workers and kind of turn in all of our tier 2 stuff and get ready for tier 3. Fill that guy up. I usually like setting the wave table and the magnetite separator right here. Kind of have this own little area here, bring buckets in. And we'll probably set that up again. I enjoy it. We run a hose along the fence here to get water. If you don't know what I mean about stretching hoses, I'll give you a quick demo of that once this thing's done. That back on there. Didn't really kill the motor. We got our wash plant all the way over here. Like I said, I got all this set up on one small pump. So let's throw on that differential real quick. Set this right back here. Nice little flat spot. Unhitch that. While we're over here. Now we'll just drive back. A little bit too far. Got my buckets over here, plus I grabbed the 2 out of the tent. Let's go ahead and kill that. Right up here. So stretching hoses, throw that right down there. Come on. Okay. So whenever you're walking a hose, it goes yellow. And you walk it and walk it and walk it, and it will eventually fall out of your hands. Now for hoses, they have certain lengths. These small gray ones are only supposed to go about 30 feet. The fat and the huge are 60 feet. But what you can do, so if you see, if I try and move again, it keeps falling. Say, nope, that's as far as that goes. So if you pick it up and you wind it up some, let's get some of that slack out. I'm not going to get too much out of it because we're too far away. There it goes. And you take one step towards the hose or cable. See how it locks into the ground? You can keep going. You can keep doing this. Get some slack. You don't have to get that much. Lock it in and walk. So you see, we stretch that cable from here all the way over there. That does make it a pain when you got to wind it up. And you got to kind of walk with it. But you see here, I got that hose 102 feet out of 30. And that one 97 out of 30. I think the first one was 113 out of 30. So that's what I used all the connectors for and everything. Bring that back over here, plug you in. Go ahead and flip the switch so that you're always on. And that's what I bought those connectors for, so we can stretch this all the way over there. Yep, that's 113 feet. See, we turn this on. So we've got water. I'm going to show you this real quick too. Let's kill that. Throw that down there. Throw that down here. So these have a certain distance they have to be from the water source. If I bring this over here, here we go. And stretch this out a little bit more. You'll see here 9.8 feet too far from river. So these do have to be a certain distance from a water source. Let's see, now that one says it's good. The light's green, or the icon's green. I forgot to. Now it's 117 feet. As long as we stay within 328 feet, we're good. And turn it on. Somewhere in here, I got a jerry can. Water filter. There we go. Fill that up. Set you back down and turn you back. We're actually going to go kill that. Kill the lights. And we're going to hit that bracket and jump to our excavator. Wrong button. Trying to get a better view here for you guys. There we go. The reason I chose that back there is usually every time I've played, back there's had a pretty decent amount of gold. Sometimes even the best part of the area is back there. So I'm going to slowly take this thing over there, cut a couple minutes out of this video, give us some time to dig, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're in position, and threw a couple buckets in there just to kind of make sure I was aligned the right way. Now before you guys start saying, oh man, that's a terrible setup, it is. I agree. But again, we're just kind of looking for nuggets, get us some money, and it's all about putting dirt in buckets. So I'm just going to keep running this and talk to you guys a little bit maybe. A couple things I do to help me control these machinery and their weird controls. Like this, I have my mouse has two buttons on the thumb side. The that allows me, I use for tilting the actual bucket. Right there, closing the bucket head. I forget what they call that. Yeah, the bucket. Bucket up, bucket down. As you see, I have it unprogrammed from my keyboard and programmed to my mouse. I was actually surprised that it actually worked. And then I also have for the front end loader, I use a Xbox controller. I have a wired Xbox controller I plug into my PC. A lot easier working the joystick on that to work the multi-directional on the bucket there. I just had a really hard time trying to do, tilting the bucket, raising the bucket, everything. And they were like different sides of your hand. And so I said, I'll give it a controller a try, and it worked out pretty good. Now you got to be careful with this large excavator, with this MobileWash Plant. The bucket really is too big for that. You see, you got to make sure that we get down around 50% before we dump that in. The nuggets are starting to pour in already. Already at 8 ounces. One thing I've always advised people is, when your parts start breaking, if you can afford it, get the reinforced, even if you're renting. Because you can go through and take all those parts off and put them on the next one you rent, or if you purchase it. I think I'm gonna kind of cut here and do some digging, and I don't want to bore you guys with nothing, just me babbling and throwing dirt in here. So we're gonna at least get the 8 buckets. Maybe do a few more. I might have to go buy. I'd have to go buy them. But it might end up having to be a fuel trip. Go buy some, refill the fuel tank, grab some more buckets, and keep going. I'm sure I'll cut somewhere or come back to you guys and give you an update. I'll tell you a quick story though. I had one time when I was first learning this. I was sitting here and I was like, alright, I got this. I upgraded from the small excavator to the big one. And I'm sitting here doing just like this. Coming over and dumping that in. I'm making sure I'm close to it so that all my little rocks fall in. It came time to move. Came around to the side of the MobileWash plant, and wouldn't you know it, I was missing my mark, and I had completely buried my little generator. So I had to sit there, and I think I actually took the shovel and I dug out enough that I could actually pick it up. I just picked it up from there, because then you could glitch it through the dirt. And I just picked it up and moved it somewhere else. I'm not getting a full bucket here. I want to trade out that. I'm sure I'm hitting the right keys. used to be, I don't know if if you guys have ever pulled up an older video. Used to be able to place buckets at the back and on the side of your MobileWash plant, and it'd actually collect magnetite. Yeah, I know the lights are on. Chill out. So yeah, it won't take long to get 8 buckets. I think the hard part's going to be staying awake. I'm going to grab some off the side here. And I'm going to try, next time I go to town, try and get my I downloaded Mr. Splittin' 2. Downloaded his little decals, or skins. Grabbed his skins. Got them installed, and I heard they're glitched out, so we'll kind of play with that a little bit too, just to kind of see if maybe it's a certain one, or there's another nugget. We're up to 16. So for every 20 ounces we find, that's about 20,000. I'd like to get about 100,000 before we do this, so we'll kind of see where we're at with the nuggets. Or I'm sorry, get 100,000 before we switch to tier 3. Because with that and with the loan we can get, we'll have plenty to get tier 3. And by then it's having that and the workers will be set. We want to, like I said, we want to try and live off the nuggets as long as possible, so that we're not losing 30% of our profits yet. We're going to need it, and we're going to need magnetite too, so we can get those upgrades at the blacksmith, and so he can quit losing our gold. And this should be this close to the edge. It's probably not that great of dirt. But it's still Old Arnold. There's gold everywhere. It's more about processing as much as possible. Now the other claims, you got to be a little bit pickier with where you're digging, especially if you get to Nighthawk. It's definitely got to drill that out. But what we're going to do is we are going to, when new season, when we sleep through the rest of this little season, I'm going to skip forward day 1 of season 3, of what it's called in the event. Or the event is season 7. Oh, they need to call it something else. Maybe 7th round. Another reason why I set this up so far away is it gives that time to process it. Because this thing will fill that thing up 50%. You see it's at 7654, and by the time we get here, it's ready for the next one. As I tell my kids, there's a method to my madness. Most of the time it's right, but I'm sure there's a lot easier ways to do this. Especially, I can't wait to get the dump truck. That thing is so much fun. It's got enough speed, enough power. You can just sit there and dump bucket after bucket right beside your hole. Or excavator bucket. Now there's several theories about, everyone knows, if you've played at all recently, the front end loader has a bug. Where it deletes dirt. No one quite knows why. One more. I have a theory on that. Because here's the thing. The game, when you drop dirt on bedrock, you see all that underneath the dirt, that's all considered bedrock. If you drop dirt on that bedrock, it just disappears. It falls through, goes into Neverland. And my theory with the front end loader is that if you do that, or if you're scraping the bottom with your front end loader, scraping bedrock with your front end loader, and it fills up, any dirt that's still in the process of falling hits that bedrock and just disappears. That's my theory. Which is why everyone says, no, you got to take the top off first before you do the bottom. And I think it's just that falling dirt, since it can't go in the bucket, just keeps falling and it hits bedrock and disappears. Now, of course, there is the other theory of, the bucket's full, so all the dirt falling would be the same as if dumping dirt into an already full hopper or dump truck. It has nowhere to go, so the game just deletes it. There's that theory too. And if that's the theory, or if that's the correct theory, then that's going to be the same for the excavator bucket too. But nobody's saying anything about losing gold in the excavator bucket, just the front end loader. So I think it might be more of, you're losing, the falling dirt is hitting bedrock. Now another thing you could do is get second MobileWash Plant, get 2 of them. That way you set them up right next to your hole. If this is filling up 50% of one wash plant, you can just sit there and go through bucket after bucket, and you're having to wait for a wash plant to process enough. You can just sit there and go back and forth and get a lot more dirt a lot quicker. But I'm in no hurry. This is my first time I'm playing the leaderboard event. I'm just kind of doing it for the experience and saying, yeah, I did that. Hopefully we'll get enough going that we can Now they did open up another section of Old Arnold Parcel. They didn't mention anything about it. The developers of the game, in their patch notes or anything. Over there, that's no longer walled off. You can actually walk up there. There's a platform up there, but there's nothing else. There's no diggable dirt. There's no Nothing to actually do there, just somewhere you can walk around, and it cuts back up to that little campfire over by the water tower. So they're doing something with the game, but hard to say what. They are not very informative. I'm going to have to check my graphic settings. My last video, I was getting a good 70 FPS. I'm digging here. It's dropping down. I did tweak some things, messed around with my overclocking a little bit. I do have plans for overclocking videos, and when I build my new PC, and I'll have videos for all that. Right now this thing is 6 years old. Yeah, don't laugh, it shows. I mean, it does alright. When I built this 2014, it was not quite top of the line, but pretty good. Wife almost left me, it was that good. You know you're building a good PC when the wife almost leaves you. But that'll do it for this video. I'm gonna keep digging and try and get as many nuggets as possible. In fact, we're already up to 31 ounces. I mean, already, we only found one more since I said last where we're at. Hey, there's another one, 3.5 ounces. Alright, so now we're at 35 ounces. That's almost 2 bars. Get all of that. So, yeah, grind those teeth down. Said we'll get the reinforced for this when they break. Those things last forever. But definitely want to try and get when we get the workers. Hopefully we can get, since we'll have some tier 3 components, get a couple mechanics. They'll help keep everything from breaking down on us. This bucket will fill that bucket. Kill the lights, we don't need them anymore. Oh, that's not going to fill it, is it? Yeah, that'll fill it. No, it's not. We'll swap it out anyway. We gotta refuel our other stuff too. And the reason I left the truck over there, now we can hit our bracket keys. Boom. Right at the truck, right at the pump. 18%. Close enough so it doesn't fall through. There we go. So that's 3 buckets. Yeah, 3 buckets. One of them's only at 99%, but we'll get these filled up. Hopefully by then we'll have, hoping to have 80 ounces, but we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching this boring video. I'll be back next time, and I'll do a lot of digging off camera. It'll probably get us to where we stop getting nuggets again, and see where we go from there. But Like I said, my experience, most of this back here, everything from back here to all this, usually pays out pretty good. Once you start getting closer you get to that over there, I've usually found this area up here is pretty dead. And then right here in the middle is pretty good, but everything else is kind of average. The edges are average. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video and what I can do to do better, and any other tips and tricks you guys might know. They're always welcome here. I love testing things out and seeing what works, what doesn't. I'm going to keep digging. You guys have fun, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.